Gold hit all-time highs at over $2,800 an ounce and looks poised to break past $3,000. This is insanely bullish for Bitcoin. I did some custom analysis, and based upon the results, it looks like Bitcoin all-time highs are not far behind. One thing you might be wondering, why is gold taking off? For one reason, people are terrified of Trump's potential tariffs.
And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Gold is making all-time highs because rumors are flying around London that there's not enough actual physical gold to satisfy the paper claims on gold that's happening right now. The physical redemption of gold in England has gone from a few days to 4 to 8 weeks. And a ton of gold is going to New York City. And here's a crazy statement. For all you gold bugs who claim that gold is an important systemic strategic asset, well, the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, says it's not really that important anymore.
Please, I mean, this is not a big thing, really, I think. I mean, it may be, first of all, of course, gold doesn't play the role it used to play. So if we'd been having this discussion 100 years ago, we'd have been in some very different world because we were on the gold standard. We're not on the gold standard anymore. So it doesn't have a significance for policy in that sense.
I think the world is moving to a Bitcoin standard for money. They absolutely should hold. Any government who holds gold should also hold Bitcoin as reserve.
What's important is that the world is moving to a Bitcoin standard over a gold standard. Larry Fink?
I'm a believer in it because I do believe it is an alternative source for wealth holding. It's no different than what gold represented over thousands of years. It is a asset class that protects you.
Right. Even Gary Gensler is replacing gold with Bitcoin in his vocabulary.
Just like we have gold for 10,000 years, we have Bitcoin.
Today, we're walking through why Bitcoin is poised to be the gold of the 21st century and why it might make sense to get some in case it catches on. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go. Gold hit an all-time high at over $2,800 an ounce, and investors globally are stockpiling as much gold as they can. Gold typically soars when investors fear inflation, rate cuts, or instability. It acts as the first warning sign that money is searching for a store of value. And it's done this pretty well over the course of time. But here's the thing, Bitcoin is the high beta version of gold. It possesses all the properties of gold with none of the downsides. Bitcoin is gold on steroids. And when I pulled the daily price data of gold, the S&P 500, and Bitcoin going back to May of 2016, here's what I found. When looking at the daily price data going back to 2016, you find that after gold hits an all-time high, Bitcoin typically lags it by 30 to 60 days. So based on the data, gold is like Cam Jurgens, and Bitcoin is like Saquon. Right before Bitcoin explodes, gold makes an all-time high first, like Cam Jurgens meeting a linebacker or a sorry safety in the hole every time Saquon has a big run. And this is why people are starting to prefer Bitcoin over gold.
In the previous world, the analog world, what cash was to gold, in the digital world, digital money may be to Bitcoin. Let me give you another example. We live in a time where 1 out of every $4 has been printed in the last 5 years. We are actively debasing our currency. And at the same time, Bitcoin has, into its design, programmed scarcity. You can never have more than a certain amount of Bitcoin. And so the dollar is depreciating, Bitcoin is appreciating. Quick factoid. In 2018, the average American home would have cost you over $260,000 and over 400 Bitcoin. Today, the average American home is now over $460,000. It would cost you less than 5 Bitcoin. What's been the better investment over the last 5 years, Bitcoin or dollars?
And it's not just former CFTC Chairman Chris Giancarlo, it's the United States Department of Treasury itself calling Bitcoin digital gold. In its 2024 report, it pointed out that the adoption of digital assets like Bitcoin and stablecoins are actually good for US Treasuries. And that use case and thesis might just be playing out in a stronger fashion with this latest news from Tether. Tether is launching its USDT stablecoin token on Bitcoin through the Lightning Network. In a time and place when foreign countries are not investing in treasuries like they used to, Bitcoin looks like it's a life raft in terms of supporting the treasury market. But before we get into that, let's hear from our sponsors. Our first sponsor is Ledn, the leader in Bitcoin lending. Ledn has been the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans, allowing people to confidently, safely, and securely unlock liquidity in their Bitcoin without selling it. Since 2018, they've issued tens of thousands of loans equaling up to $6.5 billion, and they were the first digital lending company for digital assets to provide a proof of reserves. They've never lost a single sat or a single cent of their customers' money. How do they do this? With safe and secure rules and protocols for where and how they lend. If you want to borrow $4,000 on Ledn's platform, you need to post $8,000 in Bitcoin collateral. It's pretty straightforward. The loan process takes about 2 minutes to complete, and if you qualify, dollars or money in your local currency will be in your account in 24 hours or less. Go to ledn.io/borrowing in order to fill out your first loan today to unlock liquidity in your Bitcoin. That's ledn.io/borrowing. And our second sponsor is the Bitcoin Way. With Bitcoin poised to make a new peak after gold's making an all-time high, you're going to want to make sure that you secure and pull your Bitcoin off of exchanges, that you secure your Bitcoin the right way. Members of the team from the Bitcoin Way will walk you through how to do this properly, safely, and securely, so you can confidently protect your Bitcoin the right way and remove your keys from third parties and remove all counterparty risk from exchanges. Schedule a free 30-minute consultation with their team by going to thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. That's thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin.
Tether loves Bitcoin. That's why we're bringing USDT, the world's most trusted stablecoin, directly minted on Bitcoin, now with the power of the Lightning Network. This integration combines Bitcoin's unmatched security and decentralization with the speed and scalability of Lightning, creating a new standard for financial freedom and innovation. USDT on Lightning unlocks a world of possibilities, instant, low-cost payments, all built on Bitcoin's rock-solid foundation. It's fast, reliable, and designed for everyone, everywhere. Tether is committed to driving innovation on Bitcoin, making it easier than ever to transact, build, and thrive in a decentralized world. USDT on Bitcoin and Lightning, directly on chain, built for freedom, powered by Bitcoin.
The Tether news is absolutely massive for Bitcoin. Tether has total assets of $157 billion, $94 billion of them being United States treasuries. Last year, they made a profit of $13 billion. They have excess reserves of $7 billion, and they own almost $8 billion worth of Bitcoin. Connecting Tether and stablecoins to Bitcoin does several things. Fast and cheap transactions. They're going to be able to use the cheap and fast settlement network of the Lightning Network, the layer 2 of Bitcoin, in order to move payments fast and cheap across the world globally. This is going to allow millions of people to use, send, and receive stablecoins quickly and globally. And I see this being a real competitor to traditional payment systems. This might be part of the phase where Bitcoin is shifting from store of value to medium of exchange, but we'll see. And this is why Vladimir Putin says that you can't stop Bitcoin.
Биткоин кто может запретить? Никто. А использование других электронных средств расчета кто может запретить? Никто, потому что это новые технологии. И чего бы ни было, чего бы ни происходило с долларом, эти инструменты так или иначе будут развиваться, потому что все будут стремиться к тому, чтобы снижать издержки и повышать надежность.
He laid out this use case months ago. It's inevitable that we will see Bitcoin move onto the global stage as a strategic reserve asset. And it's because the dollar continues to be weaponized against other countries. In the latest case, Donald Trump says that he will put 100% tariffs on BRICS countries if they attempt to move away from the dollar. This is also bullish for Bitcoin because it's the one asset that the United States doesn't have a global lead and head start on. And this is going to lead to the digital gold rush and why other countries are going to adopt Bitcoin. Over the next 10 years, Bitcoin is the new battleground that the United States doesn't have a clear and significant lead on.
And that takes us to the digital gold rush. Today, there's 19.7 million Bitcoin. In 2034, there'll be 20.8 million Bitcoin. You've got 10 years. That's the gold rush. We're headed toward a point when 99% of all the Bitcoin is mined. That's the point of absolute scarcity. The last 200,000 Bitcoin come out over 106 years. What does that mean? There's going to be reflexive price shock at 0.99. At 0.99, and you've only got 3,759 days, that's all you have. There's only 1,145,000 Bitcoin for sale. At today's price, it's $74 billion. MicroStrategy will buy $5 billion of Bitcoin in 1 year. This is not a lot. This is a trivial amount. The price cannot stay at this level. That's $20 million a day. We announced a $2 billion equity offering. We raised $2.4 billion in the first 6 months of this year. Look at those numbers. It's not that much. This is a phenomenon. After 0.99, Bitcoin creation is offset by lost Bitcoin. The supply is effectively fixed. It's the inflection point where Bitcoin becomes the world's first deflationary asset. There's never been anything like it, right? It's more scarce than land in Manhattan. It's more scarce than anything you can name, anything you've ever invented. The fact is, no one's ever seen this before. Therefore, you can't compare it to anything. It becomes the world's first perfect money. Of course, there's not a textbook written on it. The Austrians didn't imagine it. You couldn't create it before then.
And if it would like to continue its lead, well, it should get going with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. But Bitcoin is just a better form of money. It does the things that gold used to do in a better fashion, and it's been updated for the 21st century. It has the decentralization and scarcity of gold, but better portability, divisibility, and fungibility. It's also not being used by politicians like Bob Menendez to receive bribes from Egypt, for which he's going to prison for 11 years. And what did he use? Gold and cash. One asset is being adopted by Wall Street and institutions at a historic pace. And what we're seeing is over the next 5 to 10 years, Bitcoin will surpass gold as the largest asset in the world. Since 2020, gold has fallen 86% against Bitcoin. And this will only accelerate as we continue to move towards a global Bitcoin standard. Don't overthink things. Gold making an all-time high is a great sign that Bitcoin making an all-time high is just around the corner. But unlike gold, Bitcoin is the safe haven for the next century. If you believe these sorts of things, then I'd love to hang out with you and connect with you in Dallas, Texas from April 3rd through April 6th at the BitBlockBoom conference. Come hear from some of your favorite speakers in Bitcoin like Parker Lewis, Guy Swan, Marty Bent, Bob Burnett, and me. You'll get access to workshops on how to buy your first Bitcoin, remove it from exchanges, great networking events like our Saturday casino night where you'll be able to connect with and meet some of your favorite Bitcoiners in real life. Go to the BitBlockBoom.com and use BBB25 at the checkout for $100 off your all-inclusive ticket. That's BitBlockBoom.com and enter the promo code BBB25 for your all-inclusive ticket. I heard there's even going to be cool things like a range day before. Super excited to go and super excited to meet you guys. Bitcoiners don't hate gold. We have a ton of alignment with our gold bug friends. One of our friends is Larry Lepard, who's releasing a new book called The Big Print here shortly, which we're super excited about. If you haven't already pre-ordered Larry's book, I hope that you go and do so. But as Larry points out in his book, gold was the solution, and there might be a better solution in the century to come. I think it's Bitcoin. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking.